Have you ever poured your heart, your savings, your very soul into someone you love, only to have them slap you in the face with the cruelest kind of forgetfulness? What if that someone was your own blood, your little sister, the one you swore to protect from the world's harsh edges? Imagine staring at your phone, scrolling through a glittering party. Champagne towers, laughter echoing off crystal chandeliers, and her, the center of it all, beaming like a queen, knowing every dime that funded it came from you. But you're not there, not invited, not even a whisper of your name.
The exclusion hits like a gut punch, doesn't it? It makes you question everything. Was it all a lie? Did I mean nothing? And worst of all, what dark secrets have I been blind to all these years? That's where my story begins. And trust me, once you hear it, you'll be gripping your seat, wondering how far betrayal can go before it shatters everything. My name is Beatrice, and at 55, I've spent most of my life crunching numbers as an accountant in a quiet suburb outside Chicago. It's not glamorous endless spreadsheets, tax forms that could put anyone to sleep, but it's steady, reliable, just like me. Or at least, that's what I've always told myself. Growing up, our family wasn't picture perfect. Mom and Dad were hard-working folks. Dad a mechanic, Mom a school teacher. But from the moment Fiona was born, 5 years after me, the spotlight shifted. She was the golden child, the bubbly, charming one with curls that bounced like sunlight and a laugh that could melt ice. I was the serious older sister, the one who got straight A's, helped with chores without being asked, and never caused a ripple. Our parents doted on her, excusing her tantrums as spirited, while my efforts were expected, almost invisible. Beatrice, you're so responsible, they'd say, but it felt like code for boring. Deep down, I carried this gnawing guilt, like maybe if I'd been more fun, more like her, they'd have loved me the same. Instead, I became the fixer, the one who smoothed things over. When Fiona flunked out of college at 19, I dipped into my savings to cover her loans. Just this once, B, she pleaded, tears streaming. You're my lifesaver, sis. How could I say no? Over the next 2 decades, just this once became a mantra that drained me dry. Fiona's life was a whirlwind of bad decisions wrapped in charisma. She married young, to a guy named Rick who promised the moon but delivered debt. When he left her after 3 years, pregnant and broke, I wired money for the divorce and prenatal care. Then came the rehabs, 3 stints for alcohol and pills, each one costing thousands. I'd drive her to the facilities, holding her hand as she sobbed promises of change. I couldn't do this without you, B. You're the only one who gets me. I'd nod, swallowing the lump in my throat, ignoring the voice in my head that whispered, "What about me?" By my count, it totaled over $60,000 loans disguised as gifts, emergency bailouts for car repairs that turned out to be spa weekends, rent payments when she lost another job. I kept it secret from the family. Fiona begged me not to tell, saying it would break Mom's heart, and I, fool that I was, believed her. My own life? It was on hold. No vacations, no fancy clothes, just a modest apartment and a cat named Whiskers for company. I told myself it was worth it for family, for love. But love shouldn't feel like a one-way street, should it? Every time she'd call, voice bright and grateful, I'd feel that rush of purpose. "Lifesaver, sis," she'd say, and for a moment, I'd forget the sacrifices as the years ticked by. Fiona rebuilt or so it seemed. She got a job in event planning, flashy and social, perfect for her. Remarried to a decent guy, had 2 kids who adored their Aunt Bee from afar. We'd talk weekly, sharing laughs over coffee when she'd visit. But there were cracks I ignored, like how her stories always circled back to money woes, even as her Instagram glowed with designer bags and exotic trips. Business perks, she'd shrug. I chalked it up to her charm-winning favors. Then, last year, she hit me with another crisis. B, I'm drowning. Medical bills from the kids flew $5,000. Please, you're my only hope. I hesitated for the first time, my bank account dipping low. But guilt won out. I sent the money, no questions asked. Little did I know, that loan was the spark that would ignite everything. It started innocently enough, scrolling Facebook one evening, nursing a cup of tea after a long day at the office. I saw the posts. Fiona's 50th birthday bash extravagant didn't cover it. A yacht on Lake Michigan, string lights twinkling like stars, a live band crooning hits. Guests in gowns and tuxes toasting with bubbly that probably cost more per bottle than my weekly groceries. Photos flooded in. Fiona cutting a towering cake, her husband twirling her on the dance floor. Even our cousins laughing with celebrities she'd somehow wrangled. My heart swelled at first, proud of her milestone. But then, a chill crept in. Where was I in those pictures? No tag. No mention. I texted her. Looks amazing. Wish I was there. Hours passed. Nothing. Then, a curt reply. Thanks, B. It was last-minute chaos. Last minute. She'd been planning it for months. She'd even mentioned it in passing. Curiosity turned to unease. Why hadn't she invited me? I called our cousin Leela, fishing casually. Oh, B. Leela sighed, her voice dropping. Fiona said, well, she thought you wouldn't enjoy it. Said you're too boring and judgmental. Didn't want the vibe killed. The words landed like a slap. Boring, judgmental, me, who'd bankrolled her second chances. Rage bubbled up, hot and unfamiliar. I paced my apartment, whiskers watching with wide eyes. How dare she? But beneath the anger, guilt twisted like a knife. Guilt from our childhood, from never standing up to our parents' favoritism. Had I enabled this? Was I the fool all along? That night, I couldn't sleep. Instead, I dug into my records, old bank statements, emails, Venmo transfers. Patterns emerged. Emergencies that coincided with her vacations. Rehabs followed by shopping sprees. Suspicion gnawed at me. What if it was all a con? I had to know more. The next day, I called her, voice steady despite the storm inside. Fiona, we need to talk about the money. Her laugh was light, dismissive. Oh, B, always so serious. It's family, it's what we do. But I pressed, demanding details. Silence stretched, then a sigh. Fine, but not now. I'm busy. Click. That hang up, it was the beginning of the end. Or maybe, the start of my awakening. What secrets was she hiding? And how deep did this betrayal go? As days turned to weeks, tension built like a gathering storm. I started small, installing financial tracking apps on my accounts, just to monitor. But curiosity pulled me deeper. I hired a private investigator, discreetly, my hands shaking as I signed the check. Just verify some things, I told him. Reports trickled in. Fiona's medical bills were fiction. That $5,000 went straight to party vendors. Faked emergencies, exaggerated crises, all to fund her lavish life. Evidence piled up, receipts. Witness statements from mutual friends who'd seen her boast about milking big sis. Guilt warred with fury. How had I been so blind? Our parents' favoritism had wired me this way, the savior complex. always rescuing to earn love. But no more. Enraged, I confronted her in person, driving to her upscale home unannounced. "Repay me, Fiona. All of it." Her face paled, then twisted. "You can't be serious. It's gifts." We argued, voices rising, old wounds ripping open. "You were always jealous," she spat. "Mom and Dad loved me more because you're a stick in the mud." Tears stung my eyes, but I held firm. No more lies. As I left, her parting shot chilled me. "You'll regret this, lifesaver sis." What did she mean? Little did I know, her retaliation was brewing, dark and vicious. Her words echoed in my mind like a venomous whisper as I drove home that night. The city lights blurring through tears I refused to let fall. Regret this? Oh, Fiona, you have no idea the storm you've unleashed. For the first time in my life, I felt something shift inside me, a hardening. A resolve forged from years of swallowed resentment. But with it came fear, creeping like shadows in the rearview mirror. What was she planning? Fiona had always been the charmer, the one who could twist words into weapons. I pictured her rallying the family, painting me as the villain. Our parents were gone now, Dad from a heart attack 10 years back. Mom from cancer 5 years later, but their legacy lingered in the favoritism that had pitted us against each other without us even realizing. Guilt clawed at me again. Had I overcompensated, trying to buy the love they gave her freely? Therapy had crossed my mind before, but who'd had time? Now, it felt urgent, like oxygen in a suffocating room. The next morning, I woke to a barrage of texts, not from Fiona, but from relatives Aunt Clara, cousin Leila, even our distant uncle in Florida. "B, what's going on? Fiona says you're cutting her off cold turkey. Heard about the money demands, harsh, sis." My stomach dropped. She was spinning her web already. I called Leila back, voice trembling. "It's not like that. She's been lying, faking crises to get cash from me." Leila paused, then whispered, "I suspected something. She bragged once about how you'd always bail her out. But B, she's calling it financial abuse now. Says you're controlling her life." Financial abuse? The irony burned. Me, the enabler, now the abuser. I hung up, heart pounding, and dove back into the evidence. The PI's folder grew thicker. Forged documents for emergencies. Emails from her to friends joking about my endless wallet. One even read, "B is so judgmental. But hey, her guilt pays the bills." Reading that, betrayal sliced deep, reopening childhood scars. Why had I let this go on? Because deep down, I feared being alone, the forgotten sister. Tension ratcheted up as Fiona escalated. She stopped answering my calls, but her social media exploded with cryptic posts, quotes about toxic family, memes on cutting out negativity, subtle digs aimed at me. I knew. Then came the email, a formal demand from her lawyer, some friend playing pretend, accusing me of harassment and threatening a restraining order if I didn't back off. Harassment for asking for my own money back? Fury ignited, but so did strategy. As an accountant, numbers were my domain, cold, factual, irrefutable. I compiled everything. Spreadsheets of transfers, timelines matching her crises to luxuries. Even bank records showing the party vendors paid with my latest loan. "This ends now," I muttered to Whiskers, who purred in agreement. I hired a real lawyer, Elena, a sharp woman in her 40s with a no-nonsense vibe. Beatrice, this is elder financial exploitation in reverse, she said over coffee. Scanning my files. You've got a solid case for repayment, but family courts are messy, emotions run high. Messy didn't cover it. What if the family sided with her? The thought twisted my gut, but I nodded. Do what it takes. Days blurred into a haze of preparation. Sleepless nights replaying our arguments, wondering where it all went wrong. Had our parents' favoritism doomed us? Mom always said, Fiona needs more help, she's sensitive. Sensitive? Try manipulative. Yet, guilt lingered. Maybe I was judgmental, always lecturing her on responsibility. Self-doubt crept in, but Elena's calls grounded me. Stay strong, B. Evidence doesn't lie. Then, the bomb dropped, a family group chat invite from Fiona. Intervention time. For Bia's sake, my blood ran cold. Intervention? Like I was the addict? I accepted, curiosity overriding caution. The Zoom call assembled. Fiona, tear-streaked and dramatic. Leela looking uncomfortable. Aunt Clara frowning. A few others. Fiona started, voice quivering. Bia's lost it, demanding money, tracking me like a criminal. It's financial abuse. She's not competent anymore. We need a hearing. Competent? At 55, with a spotless career. Gasps echoed. Leela chimed in hesitantly. Fiona, that's extreme. But Fiona pushed. She's always been jealous. Hoarding her money while I struggle. Mom and Dad would be ashamed. The jab hit home, stirring that old guilt. I stayed silent at first, letting her rant, but inside, rage simmered. How dare she weaponize our past? When my turn came, I kept it calm, cinematic in my mind like a courtroom drama. Fiona, I've supported you for 20 years, $60,000 worth. Rehabs, debts, emergencies that weren't. That party, funded by my loan for fake medical bills. Murmurs rippled. She scoffed. Gifts. You're twisting it. But I shared my screen receipts, timelines, the PI's photos of her splurging. Silence fell, heavy and accusing. Aunt Clara broke it. Fiona, is this true? Her face crumpled, but not in remorse and defeat. You don't understand. Bia's always judged me. The call ended in chaos, sides fracturing. But Fiona wasn't done. Days later, papers arrived, a petition for a competency hearing, claiming I was unstable and needed guardianship. Hers. Ironically, panic surged. If she won, she'd control my finances? The betrayal deepened, a thriller unfolding in real life. What lengths would she go? I confided in Elena, who laughed bitterly. Classic retaliation. We'll countersue for fraud. The battle lines were drawn, suspense building like a ticking clock. Would justice prevail, or would family ties strangle it? As court loomed, emotions swirled, fear of losing everything, hope for vindication, and a budding inspiration to reclaim my life. Therapy started. My counselor, Dr. Hayes, unpacked it all. Savior complex, Beatrice, stemming from childhood neglect. Neglect. I'd never framed it that way, but it fit. Sessions peeled layers, revealing how I'd tied my worth to rescuing Fiona. Time to invest in you, he said. Ideas sparked. A bakery, my secret dream, baking pies like Mom taught me. But first, survival. The hearing approached, my heart a drumbeat of anxiety. What twist awaited? Fiona's lies exposed, or a family rift beyond repair? Thought for 7 spart 3-quart day dawned gray and drizzly, matching the knot of dread in my stomach as I stepped into the sterile halls of the county courthouse. At 55, I'd never imagined myself here flanked by Elena, my lawyer, clutching a briefcase stuffed with the ammunition of my life's quiet betrayals. The air smelled of old coffee and polished wood, echoing with murmurs of other fractured lives being dissected. Fiona was already there, perched on a bench with her husband and a slick attorney who'd probably cost her another emergency loan from somewhere. She looked polished, victim-like in a soft blouse and tear-rimmed eyes. But when our gazes locked, I saw the flash of calculation beneath. No remorse, just strategy. My heart hammered, part fear, part fury. What if the judge bought her act? What if my evidence crumbled under family loyalty? Elena squeezed my arm. Breathe. Be. Truth has receipts. But truth felt fragile in that moment, like a house of cards against her whirlwind charm. We filed into the courtroom, a no-frills space with a raised bench and American flag drooping, like it knew the weight of human folly. The judge, a stern woman in her 60s named Harlan, called order with a gavel that cracked like thunder. Fiona's side went first, her lawyer painting me as the overbearing sister, obsessed with control. Ms. Beatrice has wielded her financial support as a weapon, he intoned, demanding repayment for voluntary gifts and installing tracking software without consent. This is abuse, Your Honor, and given her age and erratic behavior, a competency evaluation is warranted. Erratic. Age. Indignation burned, but I stayed stone-faced as instructed. Then Fiona took the stand, voice quavering like a Lifetime movie heroine. Bea's always resented me, she said, dabbing her eyes. Our parents favored me because she was so distant. Now she's punishing me for needing help. That party? It was my milestone, and she wasn't invited because she'd judge everyone to boring for fun. Gasps from the gallery, where a few relatives sat. Boring. The word stung anew, echoing our childhood taunts. But then she twisted deeper. She's faked evidence, hired spies, it's paranoia. For her own good, we need oversight. Lies piled on lies, and I felt the room tilt. Was this really happening? My sister, blood of my blood, trying to strip my autonomy? Elena's cross-examination was a masterclass in precision. Ms. Fiona, can you explain this receipt? She held up a document, my $5,000 transfer time-stamped days before party invoices. Fiona stammered, coincidence. But Elena pressed, unveiling email chains where Fiona joked about boring Bea's bankroll. Witness statements followed, friends admitting her boasts, the pie testifying to fraud patterns. Fiona's face flushed, her charm cracking. It's not like that, she burst out. She owed me for being the perfect daughter, stealing all the attention. The outburst hung heavy, revealing the sibling rivalry I'd long suspected but never voiced. Our parents' favoritism had bred this poison me, the dutiful one. Her, the adored. Guilt surged again. Had I perpetuated it by always giving? The judge's eyes narrowed, suspense thickening like fog. Would this sway her, or deepen the rift? My turn on the stand felt exposed, like standing naked in a spotlight. I spoke steadily, voice laced with emotion I couldn't hide. I've loved my sister fiercely, Your Honor. Bailed her out of debts, paid for rehabs over $60. Zero across 20 years. Called me lifesaver sis. But discovering the lies. The faked emergencies funding luxuries while I scrimped. It broke something in me. I paused, tears welling despite my resolve. That exclusion from her party? It unearthed old wounds. Our parents' favoritism made me feel invisible. So I overcompensated, trying to earn love through money. But this, demanding repayment, isn't abuse. It's justice. Elena presented the spreadsheets, timelines irrefutable. The courtroom buzzed, tension peaking. Fiona's lawyer objected, but Judge Harlan overruled, her expression shifting from neutral to discerning. A mini cliffhanger unfolded as she recessed for deliberation, minutes stretching like hours. What would the verdict be? Vindication or humiliation? Back in session, the climax hit like a thunderclap. After reviewing the evidence, Judge Harlan announced, "I find no grounds for a competency hearing. Ms. Beatrice's actions are those of a prudent individual seeking restitution. Furthermore, the petition appears retaliatory." Relief flooded me, knees weakening. But she wasn't done. A twist that left me breathless. "Ms. Fiona, the court orders repayment of verifiable loans totaling $45,000 with interest over 5 years. Failure to comply will result in wage garnishment." Fiona's gasp echoed. Her husband's face paled. Exposed, her lies laid bare with receipts and statements. She slumped, the golden child dethroned. The family in the gallery murmured, Leela nodding at me, Aunt Clara looking shocked. It was unpredictable, intense. Not just victory, but revelation. Fiona's fraud wasn't just financial. It was emotional, rooted in unresolved jealousy we'd both carried. As we left, she approached, eyes blazing. "Happy now, B? You've ruined everything." No tears from her this time, just raw anger. "No," I whispered. "I've finally saved myself." Goosebumps prickled my skin. The turning point wasn't the gavel, but that moment of clarity. Betrayal's depth had forced me to confront my savior complex, and in winning, I'd lost the illusion of family perfection. But what came next? Freedom or loneliness? The courthouse steps felt like a threshold to a new world as I descended them. Elena at my side, clapping my shoulder like a proud coach. "You did it, B. Not just won the case, reclaimed your power." Her words warmed me, but inside, a whirlwind spun, elation mixed with sorrow, like sunlight piercing storm clouds. Fiona's defeated glare lingered in my mind, a ghost of the sister I'd idolized and enabled. The family rift, it yawned wider now. Aunt Clara had whispered apologies as we left, but others averted eyes. Caught in the crossfire, driving home, rain pattering on the windshield, I replayed the climax, the judge's gavel falling like finality, exposing Fiona's web of deceit. It was dramatic. Yes, goosebumps had rippled across my arms as the truth unfolded, but unpredictable in its aftermath. What now? Repayment was ordered, but money couldn't mend the emotional wreckage. Guilt tugged anew. Had I been too harsh? No, whispered a stronger voice within. This was self-preservation, the turning point where I stopped being the invisible fixer. Back in my apartment, Whiskers greeted me with insistent meows, as if sensing the shift. I poured a glass of wine, rare for me, and sat at my cluttered desk, staring at the bakery brochures I'd collected in secret. Dreams deferred for decades, all because I'd poured everything into Fiona. Therapy with Dr. Hayes had already begun peeling back layers. Our next session dove deeper. Beatrice, your savior complex isn't just about her, it's about proving your worth to parents who undervalued you, he said gently, his office a cozy sanctuary of books and plants. I nodded, tears flowing freely now. I feel guilty for cutting ties. Even after all this, he leaned forward. Guilt is the chain that bound you. Breaking it means freedom, but it hurts. We unpacked childhood memories. Me overshadowed at family dinners. Fiona's antics stealing the show. Selective family ties, he suggested. Boundaries, not walls. Inspiration flickered a life of self-fulfillment, starting with that bakery. But first, healing. As sessions progressed, emotions surged. Anger at Fiona's betrayal, grief for lost years, hope for what's next. Curiosity built to what would my life look like without the constant drain. Implementing changes felt thrilling, like a suspense novel's hero plotting her escape. I froze joint accounts, changed passwords, even blocked Fiona's number after one last venomous text. You'll die alone, judgmental witch. It stung, but I deleted it, focusing on the win. The $45,000 repayment plan kicked in monthly installments garnished from her wages if needed. Elena handled the logistics, freeing me to dream. I scouted locations for the bakery, a quaint corner spot in town, with big windows for displaying pies and scones. Yrs Bites, I whispered, testing the name. Relatable struggles surfaced. At 55, starting over? Doubts whispered, but therapy armed me. You're not too old, Dr. Hayes encouraged. This is your act too. Friends rallied to old colleagues who'd suspected my sacrifices, now cheering my pivot. One evening, over coffee with Leela, who'd switched sides post-hearing, she confessed. Fiona's always been the drama queen. I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. Her words healed a sliver of the family wound, but tension lingered. What if Fiona retaliated further? Rumors trickled in, her spreading tales of my cruelty on social media, blocked but echoed by mutuals. It kept me on edge, every ping a potential cliffhanger. As months unfolded, the resolution took shape, not predictable perfection, but a nuanced rebirth. The bakery opened modestly, flour-dusted counters, the aroma of apple cinnamon wafting, customers drawn by word of mouth. First day jitters had me baking through the night, hands trembling as I frosted cupcakes. But when the door chimed and smiles lit faces, fulfillment bloomed. This is amazing, B. A regular said, no more boring. I was vibrant, creative. Therapy revealed more. My judgmentalism was a shield against hurt. Fiona's extravagance a mask for insecurity. An ironic twist emerged. Fiona, facing her debts, entered real therapy too, per court nudge. A mutual friend relayed. She's unraveling her own mess. Part of me hoped for reconciliation, but selectively. We exchanged stiff emails about repayments. No more lifesaver, sis. The moral? Family love shouldn't cost your soul. Boundaries breed respect. Enabling breeds resentment. It left me pondering. How many hide behind savior roles, fearing the void without them? Yet, life's not tidy. A hidden twist came via mail, a letter from Fiona, months post-verdict. B. I was wrong. Jealousy ate me alive. Your stability, my chaos. Forgive. Emotions crashed. Curiosity, suspicion, a spark of hope. Was it genuine? Or another ploy? I didn't respond immediately, letting therapy guide. Test the waters, Dr. Hayes advised. We met at a neutral cafe, tension thick as fog. She looked worn, no glamour. I faked stuff because I felt entitled. Mom and Dad's fault, maybe. We talked rawly, unearthing shared pain. No full absolution, but a truce. Selective ties. No more money. It was satisfying. Unpredictable betrayals, ashes birthing cautious connection. The audience, well, you might feel the emotional pull. Relief. Inspiration. A reminder that self-worth isn't transactional now. Investing in me paid dividends. The bakery thrived. Therapy unearthed joy in solitude. Whiskers got a companion cat. I traveled solo to Paris, savoring croissants without guilt. The lesson lingered. Pour into others, but fill your own cup first. Ironic. How exclusion sparked inclusion in my own life. It leaves you thinking, what chains do we cling to, mistaking them for love? If you were in this situation, what would you do? Comment below or subscribe for more gripping stories. Thought for 12 Part 5. Looking back now, from the warmth of my bakery's kitchen where the scent of fresh baked bread wraps around me, like a comforting embrace, I can hardly believe how that courtroom victory was just the beginning of a deeper unraveling and rebuilding. At 55, I'd always pictured life as a straight line. Work, save, retire quietly. But betrayal has a way of derailing you onto paths you never knew existed. Paths lined with thorns of doubt but blooming with unexpected flowers of self-discovery. The days following the hearing were a blur of quiet triumph mixed with echoing silence. Fiona's repayments started trickling in small, grudging amounts that felt like reluctant apologies. Each deposit pinged on my phone, a reminder of the chasm between us. Yet, with everyone, a weight lifted, allowing space for something new. Me. But let's not sugarcoat it. The emotional aftermath was a thriller in its own right, full of suspenseful twists where old habits died hard and new fears crept in. Would I slip back into enabling? Could I trust anyone again? Those questions kept me up at night, staring at the ceiling as Whiskers curled at my feet. His purring a steady anchor. Expanding the bakery became my obsession, a cinematic escape from the family drama. Bia's Bites wasn't just a shop. It was my rebellion against being labeled boring. I poured the reclaimed funds, those hard-won dollars, into renovations. Cozy booths with plaid cushions, a chalkboard menu scrawled in my looping handwriting, and a display case gleaming with tarts that glistened like jewels. Mornings started at dawn, flour dusting my apron as I kneaded dough. The rhythmic motion therapeutic. Almost meditative. Dr. Hayes encouraged it during our sessions. Channel that energy, Beatrice. Create instead of rescue. We delve into the psychology of it all, how my savior complex had roots in childhood, where I'd watch our parents lavish praise on Fiona's art projects while my perfect report cards earned a pat on the back. You internalized that your value was in utility, he said, his voice calm over the Zoom screen. Emotions welled up. Guilt for resenting a child version of her, anger at our parents for the imbalance, and a budding curiosity about who I could be without that burden. What if you were the golden one now? He posed, leaving me pondering long after the call ended. But life, ever the suspense builder, threw in many cliffhangers. One afternoon, as customers chatted over coffee and scones, my phone buzzed a call from an unknown number. Hesitant, I answered, only to hear Fiona's voice, strained and unfamiliar. B, we need to talk. Not about money, about us. My heart raced. Was this reconciliation or another trap? We met at a park bench, autumn leaves crunching underfoot, the air crisp with unspoken tensions. She looked different, thinner, eyes shadowed, no trace of her usual sparkle. Therapy's kicking my ass, she admitted, fiddling with her scarf. Made me see how I used you to avoid my mess. Jealous of your stability, yeah, but also scared I'd never measure up. Vulnerability hung between us, raw and real. I shared too. I felt invisible, so I made myself indispensable. But it cost me everything. Tears flowed, not dramatic sobs but quiet releases. No hugs, no instant forgiveness that would be too predictable. Instead, a tentative agreement. Monthly coffee, no strings. Just sisters trying to rewrite their story. Curiosity piqued, what if we could heal? But doubt lingered. Trust, once shattered, rebuild slowly. As the bakery flourished, relatable struggles emerged, adding human touch to my new chapter. Balancing books, ironic for an accountant turned entrepreneur, meant late nights poring over ledgers. But now they were mine. A young employee, Mia, reminded me of a younger Fiona, bubbly, prone to mistakes. When she botched an order, my instinct was to fix it silently. No, I told myself, echoing Dr. Hayes. Teach, don't rescue. We talked it through. She learned, I grew. Customers shared stories, two divorced moms starting over. Retirees chasing dreams, mirroring my journey. One evening, a regular, Mr. Thompson, confessed over a slice of pie. Lost my brother to similar stuff, money, tears, families apart. His words inspired. Perhaps my pain could help others. I started a blog, anonymous at first. From ledger to loaf, reclaiming life at 55. Posts poured out emotional, honest confessions of betrayal, guilt, and triumph. Readers commented, "This is me." Relatability hooked them. Suspense in each update. Would the sister reconcile? How's the bakery faring? Yet, thriller elements persisted. Fiona's therapy unearthed more secrets, a gambling habit she'd hidden, fueling some emergencies. She confessed over coffee, voice trembling. "I didn't want you to judge." Judgmental. That word again. "I'm working on it," I replied, surprised by my calm. But then a twist. Her husband left, citing the stress. She called in tears. I need." I braced for the ask, tension coiling. Advice, not money. Relief washed over. Progress. I shared bakery tips, budgeting, planning, roles reversed. It felt ironic, empowering. Family ties shifted selectively. Leela visited often, bridging gaps. Others faded. Guilt ebbed, replaced by inspiration. At 55, I dated tentatively, a kind widower from book club. Dinners filled with laughter, no pressure. Life bloomed, but not without shadows. A late night break-in at the bakery, shattered glass, stolen till had me suspecting retaliation. Police found no link, but paranoia gripped. Fiona? Old habits. It resolved as random crime. But the scare heightened emotions. A reminder vulnerability lingers. Therapy revealed deeper layers. My fear of abandonment fueled the complex. Selective ties mean choosing quality, Dr. Hayes said. I invested in me yoga classes, a trip to Italy for baking inspiration. Photos of rolling hills and gelato filled my feed, a far cry from Fiona's old extravagance. The moral deepened. Betrayal exposes cracks, but mending them builds strength. Ironic twist. Fiona started a small catering business, inspired by my success. "Thanks to you," she texted. No more rivalry, just mutual respect. Time would tell, leaving that curiosity hook dangling. The aroma of vanilla and cinnamon became my daily symphony as Bia's Bites. Evolved from a fledgling dream into a neighborhood staple. A place where locals gathered not just for pastries but for the warmth of connection I'd long craved. At 55, reinventing myself felt like starring in my own underdog movie, complete with montage moments of me. Rolling dough at sunrise, flour streaking my cheeks like war paint. But beneath the surface, the emotional undercurrents swirled. A blend of suspense and curiosity about what lay ahead. Would the bakery sustain me or crumble under unforeseen pressures? And Fiona, our tentative truce hung by a thread, each coffee meetup a potential turning point. One such afternoon, as rain pattered against the cafe window, she arrived with a tentative smile, carrying a box of her own catering samples. "Truce offering," she said, voice laced with uncertainty. I accepted, biting into a savory tart that surprised me with its flavor. "Not bad," I admitted, and for a moment, the old rivalry dissolved into shared laughter over baking mishaps. Yet, guilt flickered hers for the years of deception, mine for enabling it. "We're both products of that messed up dynamic," she murmured, eyes downcast. "Mom and Dad pitted us without knowing. Honesty like that built bridges, but slowly. Trust was a fragile dough, over-knitted and it toughened. Therapy with Dr. Hayes continued to unearth layers, turning sessions into emotional excavations. "Let's talk about inspiration," he prompted one day, sunlight filtering through his office blinds like hopeful rays. "What drives you now, beyond survival?" I paused, reflecting on the bakery's bustling mornings, customers sharing stories over coffee, kids pressing noses to the glass case. "Fulfillment," I replied, emotion thickening my voice. I spent decades pouring into Fiona to feel needed. Now, creating something tangible, seeing smiles from my efforts, it's intoxicating. He nodded, delving into the psychology. My savior complex had masked a deeper fear of irrelevance. By investing in yourself, you're modeling healthy boundaries. Homework assignments followed journaling gratitudes, practicing no without guilt. Relatable struggles emerged in those pages. The loneliness of selective family ties. The thrill of independence tinged with nostalgia for simpler sibling days. Curiosity drove me to explore more. Baking classes online, where I connected with others in midlife pivots. One virtual friend, Sarah from Texas, shared her own betrayal story, a best friend who'd siphoned savings. "Reclaim your narrative," she advised. It inspired. Perhaps my blog could expand into a podcast, voices of resilience echoing mine. But suspense lurked in unexpected corners. A health scare hit. A routine checkup revealed high blood pressure. Doctor attributing it to stress from the ordeal. "Take it easy, Beatrice," she warned, prescribing meds and rest. Panic gripped. What if I collapsed? Bakery shuttered, dreams dashed. It mirrored old fears, being the reliable one, now vulnerable. Fiona's reaction surprised. She visited with homemade soup. No ask in sight. "I worry about you too, B." Her concern felt genuine, a twist in our thriller tale. We talked vulnerabilities, her post-divorce dating woes, my tentative romance with the widower, Tom. "He's kind," I confided, blushing like a teen. "Makes me laugh." She grinned. "About time you had fun." Moments like that humanized her, adding depth to the betrayal's aftermath. Yet, caution remained. When she hinted at needing a small loan for her business, I gently redirected. "Resources online, try grants." Her nod, without pushback, marked progress. The moral sharpened. Change is possible, but vigilance guards the heart. As winter blanketed the suburbs in snow, the bakery hosted its first event, a holiday cookie swap. Lights twinkling, carols playing softly. Locals mingled, stories flowing like mulled wine. Mia, my employee, thrived under mentorship, her confidence blooming. "You're like the mom I needed," she said one shift, eyes misty. It hit emotionally me, the boring sister, now inspiring others. But a cliffhanger loomed. Fiona's business faltered amid economic dips. She called, voice cracking, "B. Advice only, I swear." We brainstormed over Zoom, her gratitude palpable. You've taught me accountability. Ironic. How roles flipped. The lifesaver becoming the guide. Family Ripples extended. Leela organized a small reunion, minus drama. Aunt Clara attended, whispering, "Proud of you, girl." Selective ties felt right. Not isolating, but empowering. Guilt faded, replaced by inspiration to mentor more. I volunteered at a women's shelter, sharing financial tips from my accountant days. Boundaries save lives, I told a group, their nods echoing my journey. Emotions peaked during a quiet evening alone, flipping through old photos us as kids. Fiona's curls wild, my smile tentative. Tears came, not bitter but cleansing. Dr. Hayes called it closure. You've resolved the complex. Now thrive. And thrive I did. The bakery expanded online, shipping pies nationwide. Tom's courtship added romance picnics, stargazing, his hand in mine stirring hopes long dormant. "You're extraordinary," he said under moonlight, and I believed it. Curiosity about the future burned bright. Travel, franchise, deeper bonds. The lesson lingered. Betrayal's pain births growth, if you let it. Hidden moral. Self-fulfillment isn't selfish. It's essential. It leaves you wondering how many lives pivot on such revelations. Spring arrived like a gentle promise, melting the winter's chill and infusing Bia's bites with fresh energy. Blooming flower boxes. Outside, seasonal menus featuring strawberry rhubarb pies that sold out by noon. At 55, I marveled at this new rhythm. The buzz of the espresso machine, the chatter of regulars debating recipes, the satisfaction of closing the register with a healthy tally. But emotions don't hibernate. They thaw with the season, bringing suspenseful undercurrents to the surface. Fiona's business, tentatively named Fiona's Flavors, was gaining traction. Her catering gigs popping up on social media I'd unblocked for cautious monitoring. Our monthly coffees had evolved from awkward silences to genuine exchanges. But curiosity nagged. Was her change real, or a polished facade waiting to crack? One meetup, under blooming cherry trees in the park, she confessed more layers of her past deceptions. The rehabs, only to were legit. The third was a spa retreat disguised. Her voice cracked, guilt-touching lines on her face. I listened, heart twisting between empathy and wariness. "Why tell me now?" I asked, voice soft but probing. "Because therapy's making me face it. And I miss my sister." The admission hung, emotional and raw, a cliffhanger in our healing saga. Could I forgive fully, or would old betrayals resurface? Dr. Hayes helped navigate these waters, our sessions a lifeline in the thriller of self-reinvention. Boundaries are dynamic, he explained, leaning back in his chair as birds chirped outside his window. Test them, but protect your progress. We explored inspiration's role, how my bakery wasn't just a business, but a symbol of reclaimed agency. You've shifted from savior to creator, he noted, and I felt a swell of pride mingled with lingering guilt. Journal entries captured relatable struggles. The pull of family duty versus self-care. The fear that success might isolate me further. Tom's presence added a romantic subplot. His steady companionship a balm. Over a picnic he'd packed cheeses, fresh bread from my shop. We shared dreams. Ever thought of expanding? He asked, eyes twinkling. A chain of Bia's bites. Laughter bubbled. At my age, ambition felt audacious, but inspiring. Yet, suspense built when he mentioned his own family baggage. A estranged daughter. "Reminds me of you and Fiona," he said gently. Parallels drew me closer, but also heightened caution. Was I repeating patterns? Attracting rescuers? The bakery's growth brought many dramas, keeping the narrative gripping. A rival cafe opened nearby, undercutting prices with flashy ads. Panic flared. Would my loyal customers stray? Mia and I brainstormed countermeasures, loyalty cards, baking demos. "You're the heart here," she encouraged, her youthful optimism infectious. We hosted a community event, free tastings, live music turning potential threat into triumph. Sales spiked, but the effort exhausted me, echoing old overgiving habits. Therapy unpacked it, noticed the pattern pushing to prove worth. Inspiration struck. I hired help, delegating for balance. Relatable human touch emerged in customer interactions. A widow finding solace in my lemon bars, reminding her of her late husband's favorites. "Your story inspires me," she said, tears in her eyes. It humanized my journey, from betrayed sister to beacon for others. My blog evolved to attracting emails from readers. Your honesty about sibling rivalry helped me set boundaries. Curiosity drove engagement. Polls on forgive or forget sparked debates. Fiona's arc added thriller twists. Her business hit a snag a bad review online, accusing overpricing. She texted, "B, thoughts?" No plea for cash, just input. We met, dissecting it over lattes. Transparency wins. I advised, sharing my own early mishaps. Gratitude shone in her eyes. "You're my role model now." Ironic reversal, the boring one leading. But a deeper revelation came. During a session, she admitted childhood jealousy. "You were the smart one. I acted out for attention." We cried together, unearthing shared pain from parental favoritism. "We both lost," I whispered. Selective ties strengthened. We planned a low-key family picnic with Leela and a few neutrals. No extravagance, just genuine connection. Emotions ran high, hope tempered by realism. What if old dynamics resurfaced? The day arrived sunny. Laughter flowed. But when Fiona joked about past loans, tension flickered. I steered gently. Water under the bridge with interest paid. Chuckles eased it. A satisfying nod to growth. A summer loomed. Personal milestones built suspense. My 56th birthday approached, not a lavish bash like Fiona's, but intimate. Tom, Mia, a few friends at the bakery after hours. Candles flickered on a cake I'd baked myself. Wishes whispered for continued fulfillment. Tom gifted a necklace, simple and elegant, for the woman who's captured my heart. Blush rising, I felt alive. Desirable, far from the judgmental shadow Fiona once cast. Yet, a twist. News of Fiona's ex-husband reaching out, stirring her old vulnerabilities. She confided over phone, tempted, but I know better. My advice? Trust your gut. Roles solidified equals now. The moral deepened. Betrayal's scars fade with intentional healing, inspiring resilience. Hidden lesson. Age is no barrier to reinvention. It's fuel. Summer's heat waved over the suburbs like a persistent memory, turning Bia's bites into a haven for iced teas and chilled fruit tarts. That drew crowds seeking respite from the swelter. At 56 now, I found rhythm in the seasonal shifts, adapting menus, experimenting with flavors like lavender lemonade that whispered of innovation I'd long suppressed. But emotions, ever the undercurrent, wove suspense through these sunny days. Fiona's confession about her childhood jealousy had opened a door, but walking through it meant navigating minefields of unresolved hurt. Our picnics evolved into occasional dinners, where we dissect old family photos over wine, laughter mingling with tears. "Remember Dad's favoritism?" she'd say, voice tinged with regret. "Made me entitled. You invisible." I'd nod, guilt surfacing like bubbles in a pot. Had I harbored resentment too long? Curiosity drove us deeper. What if we co-hosted a small event, blending our businesses? The idea thrilled, but wariness lingered. One misstep could unravel our fragile peace. Dr. Hayes's sessions became a cinematic reflection, framing my life like chapters in a novel. "You're authoring your story now," he said one humid afternoon, fan whirring softly. "But watch for thriller elements, old patterns disguised as progress." We explored inspiration sources. The bakery's success fueling a sense of purpose I'd chased through Fiona. Relatable growth, he called it. As I shared stories of customers mirroring my pivot, a laid-off teacher starting a craft shop, inspired by my blog. Emotions swelled during these talks. Hope for sustained change, fear of backsliding. Journaling captured the human touch. Nights doubting my worth without the savior role. Mornings affirmed by a child's grin over a cookie. Tom's romance added layers, weekend getaways to lakeside cabins, where we'd share vulnerabilities. My daughter's reaching out, he confided under starlit skies. Scary, but worth it. Parallels to Fiona stirred empathy. Perhaps reconciliation was universal. Yet, suspense built when he proposed a trip abroad. Paris baking inspiration. Excitement warred with practicality. Could I leave the shop? Mia stepped up, proving delegation's power. The bakery's challenges kept the narrative gripping. Many cliffhangers in daily operations. Supply chain hiccups, flour shortages from strikes forced creative substitutions. Testing resilience. Adapt or fold, I muttered, kneading gluten-free dough. Customers rallied, their loyalty a testament to the community I'd built. One regular, a young entrepreneur named Alex, sought advice. How'd you bounce back from betrayal? Over coffee, I shared edited highlights, the exclusion, the court win, the self-fulfillment, boundaries and therapy. I said, voice steady. His nod inspired. My pain, alchemized into guidance. Blog traffic surged, readers emailing. Your sibling story healed my rift. Curiosity hooks in posts. Next, co-business venture, drew engagement. Fiona's input on that idea came during a call. Let's try a pop-up your pies, my catering. Tension coiled. Trust her with finances? We agreed on separate ledgers, a practical twist. As fall approached, emotional depths plunged further. A family heirloom surfaced, Aunt Clara's will, naming us joint inheritors of Mom's jewelry. Symbolic, Leela said at the reading. Fiona and I met to divide it, air thick with history. You take the necklace, suits your new life, she offered, eyes sincere. Acceptance felt profound, a resolution layer. But guilt whispered, did I deserve this peace? Therapy unpacked, earned through growth. Inspiration bloomed, I donated a piece to charity. Tying past to purpose, selective ties expanded. Holidays with Tom and his mending family, blending circles. Suspense in small moments. Fiona's business review improving, her thanking me publicly online. Shout out to my sis for the inspo. Heartwarming, but watchful changes proof inconsistency. Personal twists added thriller flair. Health stabilized, but a bakery expansion loan application stirred old fears, rejection echoing childhood invisibility. Approved, it felt victorious. Tom's proposal came subtly. Move-in? Emotions crashed, joy, vulnerability. Yes, I whispered, embracing the unknown. Life's moral crystallized. Betrayal forges strength. Self-love attracts true bonds. Ironic. The forgotten sister now unforgettable. Part 9 Fall's crisp embrace settled over the town. Leaves crunching underfoot like whispered secrets from the past. As Bia's bites geared up for harvest festivals with pumpkin spice lattes and caramel apple turnovers that evoked nostalgic warmth. Turning 56 had brought a quiet confidence, but the emotional tapestry of my life continued to weave intricate patterns of suspense and revelation. Fiona and I's co-pop-up event loomed a test of our mended bond, blending her catering flair with my baked goods at a local fair. Planning sessions over video calls were laced with curiosity. Would old rivalries flare, or harmony prevail? Let's make it epic but budget-conscious, I suggested, spreadsheets open. She laughed, a genuine sound I'd missed. Deal, no extravagance. Yet, guilt simmered beneath hers for past frauds. Mine for the walls I'd built. Dr. Hayes framed it poetically. You're co-authoring now, Beatrice. Suspense lies in collaboration. Sessions delved into inspiration's evolution from survival to legacy. What mark do you want to leave? He asked, autumn light casting golden hues. I pondered a bakery chain, mentorship programs. Emotions surged, hope for impact, fear of overreach echoing my savior days. Tom's move-in deepened the narrative. Our shared home a cozy blend of his bookshelves and my baking tools. Mornings with coffee in bed, discussing dreams. Added romantic thriller elements, his daughter's visit approaching. My nerves taut. She'll love you, he assured, hand squeezing mine. Parallels to Fiona stirred. Family mending required vulnerability. The pop-up day dawned sunny, booths bustling with fairgoers. Fiona arrived early, setup efficient, no drama. Teamwork. She grinned, arranging platters beside my pie displays. Crowds flocked, compliments flowing. Perfect pairing. Sales soared, but a mini cliffhanger hit. A mix-up in orders, her team short-staffed. Instinct urged rescue, but I paused. How can I help without taking over? We problem solved together, bonds strengthening. By dusk, exhausted but elated, we toasted with cider. We did it, she said, eyes misty. Thanks for trusting. Emotional depth hit. Betrayal's scars fading, replaced by mutual respect. Yet, curiosity lingered. What next? Collaboration. Bakery expansions brought relatable struggles, humanizing the journey. Loan in hand, I scouted a second location, a charming spot downtown. Contractors quoted high, doubts creeping. At my age, risk it. Mia encouraged. Boss, you're unstoppable. Hiring a manager eased loads. Teaching delegations freedom. Customers shared tales. A single dad crediting my blog for boundary setting with X. Inspired me to chase my cafe dream. It fueled me. Blog posts evolving into webinars, from betrayal to baking. Life lessons. Viewers tuned in. Questions pouring. How to forgive without forgetting. Answers drew from therapy. Selective ties. Consistent actions. Fiona guested once. Anonymously at first. My sister's story changed me, she shared. Twist. Listeners connected. Messages flooding with support. Suspense and feedback, praise mixed with skeptics. Too good to be true. It mirrored life's unpredictability. Health routines stabilized. Yoga classes with Tom adding balance. One session, mid-pose, epiphany struck. My judgmental streak stemmed from self-protection. Dr. Hayes nodded. Release it. Embrace empathy. Inspiration bloomed. I volunteered more, teaching baking at shelters. Flower power, a participant joked, her smile mirroring my fulfillment. Family dynamics shifted selectively. Thanksgiving hosted at our home. Fiona attending Sans husband drama. Laughter echoed. But when old stories surfaced, tension flickered. Remember the party? Someone teased. Fiona owned it. My mistake be as the real lifesaver. Apology accepted. Ironic twist, healing wounds. Guilt dissolved. We'd both grown. Winter's approach promised new chapters. curiosity building. Franchise? Book deal? Tom's whisper one night. Marry me? Heart pounding. Yes on my lips. Moral enduring. Self-fulfillment invites abundance. Betrayal's end is rebirth's beginning. Winter's hush fell softly, blanketing the world in a serene white that mirrored the clarity settling over my life. As Bia's bites transformed into a cozy retreat with hot cocoa specials and gingerbread houses that drew families bundled against the cold. At 56, I'd come to cherish these seasonal rhythms not just as business cycles, but as metaphors for personal renewal. The pop-up success with Fiona had sparked a tentative partnership, our businesses occasionally intersecting like paths in a snowy forest. Planning a holiday market booth together brought suspense. Would collaboration deepen our bond, or unearth buried tensions? Over steaming mugs in my kitchen, we brainstormed her ideas, flashy, mine grounded. Balance, I suggested, spreadsheets tempering her enthusiasm. She conceded with a smile. You've rubbed off on me, B. Yet, emotions churned beneath curiosity about her motives. Guilt for doubting. Dr. Hayes dissected it. Healthy skepticism isn't judgment, it's wisdom earned. Sessions explored legacy building. Inspire through action, he urged. Winter light pale on his face. I nodded. Visions of a baking workshop for underprivileged kids taking shape, inspiration blooming from betrayal's fertile ground. Tom's proposal lingered like a warm ember. Our engagement quiet and intimate, a ring slipped on during a fireside evening, his eyes reflecting flames. Yes, I'd whispered, heartful yet cautious. Planning a small wedding added thriller elements. His daughter's approval pending. My family's selective inclusion. Fiona reacted with genuine joy via text. About time, sis. Let me cater? Acceptance felt profound. A twist in our saga. We met to discuss. Her portfolio spread on the table. No charge my gift. Wariness flickered, but her eyes held sincerity. Proving change, she added softly. Emotional depth surfaced. Forgiveness as a choice, not erasure. Relatable struggles emerged in preparations, balancing joy with past shadows. Like when old photos triggered memories of parental favoritism. We survived, Fiona said during a fitting, our reflections side by side. Laughter followed tears, human touch in shared vulnerability. The bakery's second location opened amid flurries, a milestone laced with suspense. Ribbon cutting drew locals, Mia managing the original spot with poise. Proud protege, I teased her. Challenges arose, staffing shortages, supply delays testing resilience. One stormy night, power outage hit, candles flickering as we served by lantern light, turning crisis into charm. Customers bonded, stories shared, a couple crediting my pies for their first date. Inspiration struck. I launched workshops, baking boundaries, blending recipes with life lessons on self-care. Participants opened up. Your story gave me courage to cut toxic ties. Blog and webinars amplified reach. Readers from afar emailing, healed my sibling rift. Curiosity hooks in content. Wedding bells post-betrayal sparked buzz. Fiona contributed a guest post. From fraud to friend. Twist. It went viral. Her honesty resonating. Skeptics commented, but support outweighed, mirroring life's balance. Health vigilance continued. Walks with Tom in snowy parks grounding me. One evening, breath fogging, he shared, your strength inspires me. Romance deepened, but not without mini dramas. His daughter visited. Initial awkwardness melting over my hot chocolate. Dad's happy, she confided. Parallels to Fiona warmed me. Mended families as ripple effects. Selective ties solidified. Holiday dinner included her. laughter echoing without old barbs. When she gifted a custom apron, lifesaver sis 2.0, irony brought chuckles. Guilt fully ebbed. We'd rewritten our narrative as spring hinted, legacy crystallized. Franchise whispers grew, third location scouted. Therapy wrapped a chapter. You've transcended the complex. Fulfillment radiated. Bakery empire. Loving partner. Cautious sisterhood. Moral profound. Betrayals forge tempers souls. Self-investment yields abundance. Hidden twist. Fiona's business thrived. Our paths intertwined yet independent. Life's curiosity endures. What adventures next? If you were in this situation, what would you do? Comment below or subscribe for more gripping stories. As the calendar flipped to a new year, the quiet resolve of winter gave way to the vibrant renewal of spring once more. A cycle that now felt like a personal anthem of perseverance and growth. Yrs Bites had blossomed into a small empire, with the third location's groundbreaking ceremony drawing a crowd of supporters. Their cheers echoing the fulfillment I'd fought so hard to claim. At 56, standing there with shovel in hand, Tom by my side and Fiona in the front row clapping genuinely, I reflected on the thriller that had been my life, the betrayals, the battles, the unexpected alliances. Our wedding was set for summer, a simple affair in the park where we'd first mended fences, with selective family and friends witnessing not just vows, but a testament to second chances. Suspense had evolved from fear to excitement. What legacies would we build together? Fiona's business complemented mine now, occasional joint ventures proving change's durability. Emotions swelled in quiet moments, gratitude for the pain that propelled me, inspiration to pay it forward through mentorship. The moral etched deep. From exclusion, sting rises, self-empowerment soar. Life's ironic twist. The forgotten invitation sparked an unforgettable journey.